Hello YouTube and welcome to episodes 14 and 15 of Bakemonogatari, that being episodes 14 and 15 in the Monogatari series. Back at it again today. I'm recording at like 9 a.m. because it fit with my schedule today. Hence the light in the background, which is messing with the camera a little bit. I tried to fix it, but I made my camera framey. I don't know. I know nothing about cameras. Just a bit of housekeeping out of the way initially. There should be a picture-in-picture version available for this episode now. I'm hosting it on BitChute. If we have a better alternative that doesn't cost money at the moment, would be wonderful. But it is what it is. The quality is questionable. But it's there for the people that wanted it. Another thing to note will be that there will be a difference between these recording sessions. I'm recording this on Sunday, and then I'll record and edit tomorrow. I think that's my little plan, because I've got tomorrow off. So we'll see what happens there. But I just wanted to jump into some Bakemonogatari today, because I want to see the show. As always, I'm just going to have a little gander at the comments here. I've got 3 comments here today. The first one here is by Matt. Is there a better way to show that a character is in serious distress than to break their well-established catchphrase? You just instantly know Hanakawa is not in a good place right now. Yeah, we do, based on a confluence of factors. Up to and including your example there, the misuse of the catchphrase, or purposeful misuse of it. Like questioning her own very sense of self, in a way. Which I think we should get some kind of resolution to in these 2 episodes. Maybe not perfectly, but some kind of resolution. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. Fun fact, the 4th wall gag about Senjo's VA is actually in the light novel, and thus predates the anime by years. The light novel actually has a ton of 4th wall jokes, but most didn't make it into the anime. For example, in the novels, Meme explains that the reason he never lights his cigarette is to avoid making more work for the animators. The way I understand it is not all light novels get animated, right? That everybody makes. So this is some ridiculous foresight and confidence out of Nisio Isin. Am I correct? That I'm gonna assume that I'm gonna get an anime and then I get to make animated jokes. That's kind of fun. I like that. I love a good 4th wall joke as long as they don't overuse them. That one came out of nowhere and it was actually executed very well. One of my favorites for sure. But thank you again for the comment, Matt. The next comment here by Niku Fukin. Glad you'll laugh at that scene. Unfortunately, that's the least horny Araragi ever been. It becomes worse later. Awesome. The simplification of the pun. Kamimashita, kamimamita, kamiwaita. Yeah, I mean, you got to try your best with these Japanese puns. I got most of it from. I've got a beginner level knowledge of Japanese, so I kind of picked up on a little bit of it. Hanakawa tries to divert conversation. Is that in reference to the radio show part? I would imagine that's what that is. And yeah, I kind of picked up on that as well. Like Hanakawa tries not to focus on herself as much. Doesn't want the conversation to kind of like take place around her problems. She wants to be perceived as normal and doesn't want this level of tension, even if maybe she needs it sometimes. So we'll see the way that goes. Again, just very Japanese, and I'm not Japanese. Well, I mean, obviously, but it's not like I dislike those parts or am critical of those parts. I just understand that I'm an outsider coming to this medium. It's just the way it is. The same way if you guys watched, I don't know, random Australian show and then they started using some Australian vernacular, you'd be a little bit confused. All the conversations and jokes in Monogatari felt very real, especially all those random topics. That's what I like about this anime. I can't feel the cringe at all. You can even put various Monogatari OSTs when you talk with your friends and it'll be perfect. I can't wait for Spring Break arc in the movie reaction. Sorry for my weird and messy writing style. One, I do appreciate Monogatari's kind of realistic dialogue. The show is mainly conversations between characters, which is important that those conversations are good and feel natural. So that is a big plus for the series. Another thing, I think your last little bit there is a little bit spoilery, so we can just take that back a little bit in the next couple comments. That's probably my limit, and probably a little bit over it, but it's okay. Now I just have some kind of expectation around the movies, so it's alright. They're next anyway, it's not like you're ruining anything. But thank you again for the comment, Niku Fukin, I really appreciate it. Fluxio is the next comment here. He links a time code and then says, "This reminds me of JoJo. Stand users attract other stand users, but replace stand user with person who has interacted with an aberration." This is a bit of a mouthful, but I can't find a better way to phrase it. Just like how in real life, when you learn a new word, you start to see it everywhere. Once you become acquainted with something, sometimes you just get sucked into it whether you want to or not. Yeah, so this was kind of my little, well, a couple comments flagged it early, and then yeah, if it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy for the show in a way, because the characters need to interact with the occult, and then it justifies itself by the characters keep interacting with the occult, if that makes any sense. I like it from a writing decision for sure. I also haven't seen JoJo. Is that something people want on the channel? Because I'd be happy to do that. So whenever anyone's like, "Oh, holy shit, that's a motherfucking JoJo reference," I'm like, no clue. I got no clue. But thanks again for the comment. So we're just going to do a little recap leading into the last couple episodes to finish up the season. Araragi is happily riding on his bike to school after spending the night on a date with Senjogahara. Araragi meets with Hachikuji on the way to school and does things to her. Hachikuji and Araragi talk about Hanakawa and Senjogahara. Some choice lines include, "Hanakawa saved me," "she would probably turn me down anyway," in reference to Araragi asking her out. When comparing Senjogahara and Hanakawa, Araragi clearly sees Senjogahara more romantically, but sees Hanakawa in kind of a different role entirely. As I said before, more of a savior. Araragi gets to school before receiving an emergency email from Hanakawa. Senjogahara meets him at the school gate in kind of like a girlfriend kind of way, which I thought was cute. But gives him permission, question mark. There was like some eye stuff going on. To go help with what's needed. They also massively break the fourth wall here, as I referenced before, and it's pretty funny. Araragi finds Hanakawa in the park with a hat on. This is a great scene, reveals a lot about the characters, if you read the subtext and that kind of thing. But the main revelation of the scene is that Hanakawa has two cat ears perched on top of her head. Now, these cat ears are black as opposed to the white, which we saw during Golden Week. They go to see Meme to see if he can help with this, but he seems kind of busy today, but kind of offers his help anyway. They go upstairs and Meme knocks out Hanakawa to let the meddlesome cat take control, and we start from there. It's kind of where we left off. It was only the one episode last week, so the recap's kind of shorter. Just some predictions, general, vaguish predictions. Some kind of resolution to the conflict present, so Hanakawa's current problem is going to be solved. Now, the way I would like it to be solved is that she kind of keeps the cat ears. One, cat girls. Two, I think it'd be a decent symbolic representation of kind of living with stress or living with a healthy amount of stress relief. Something to that effect. But I don't quite know the full connotations of what's going on yet. Maybe that's a ill-advised move. Potentially there could be some new information revealed around Golden Week and potentially a little bit around Spring Break, as these two events in the past pertain to Hanakawa as well. We've kind of got a bit of a rolling Golden Week thing going on, so I'm expecting a little bit more of that. And there should be more cat girls, so it is what it is. Just before we jump in today, there's just going to be some show stuff. If you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and want to see more, including Panty and Stocking and Land of the Lustrous, and a new reaction slot opening up soon. Wow! Subscribe to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I can do to improve my presentation, including my lighting setup, which is kind of fucked, but anyway. And I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter at the moment, so if you go down in the description and click on the link and give me a follow on Twitter, I'd be appreciative, and I'll follow you back and we can do the social interaction thing. It'll be awesome. Anyway, I'm just going to jump right into episode 14. Very exciting. Get into the pointy end. Episode 14 this is, and there's a picture-in-picture version down below, but again, the quality's questionable, to put it politely. Either way, I'm just going to give this a 3, 2, 1. 2, 1, go. Helicopter? Great. There's a nyahaha on the loose. Oshinomemi is impressed. Her impetus. Yeah. So it's only natural that it happened again. Stores. Like a cat. Oh, I see. This guy seems pretty powerful, like Meme. Hmm. Yeah. What's causing Hanako's stress? Besides, everything. I disagree. But anyway. He's always being vague. Neko fantasy. I've got, as always. Who is approaching? Or was it them? They're just walking along. Okay, never mind. Shinobu is nowhere to be seen. I forgot to mention that. She's off eating donuts somewhere. Exactly. What do you mean? I didn't see her at all. Maybe that's why he was lighting the thing. That's great. Oh, new opening? Oh, I'm gonna need to have another look at this. And now it's not real life, like live action Hanakawa. It's like actual Hanakawa. The amount of effort put into this show, I continuously say it, but it's insane, right? Any other show would have one opening and repeat it for like all 12 episodes. But all of these have, this is like kind of stealing some of the kind of stylistic techniques from the last one, but this is all unique, like very good animation. That's some unique animation as well. Naked Hanakawa, huh? Alright, cool. It's the meddlesome cat. Great. When I do that one for the YouTube video, I'm going to need to pick my frames very carefully. That just said next episode, final episode. I don't have to read it all. That's great. Not a vampire out of legend anymore. Yeah, she went to like Nevada. Flashback? Great. Girl 1. Yeah, I don't think you stutter Anyway. Trying to get everybody on the case. Alright. A pyramid's that big? Hello, Sengoku. Koyomi Oni-chan. I don't think this is gonna help. Oh, the little band-aid. What's going on there? Great. I love that. That's a great little connective tissue between the episodes. I was like, where have I heard this before? Sengoku didn't really have that much to do with Shinobu. I guess it was the part where Shinobu was like looking at her. Kyuketsuki. Gaming? I love Kambaru. Yeah, voice ID. You knew who it was. Little gamer, little gaming action. With the cards? 3,000 yen. Oh, it's the same symbol of the kids from before. That's great. The little hats. Thrump. Great. No. Man, I'm dead. Yes. Oh yeah, the cultural festival, of course. Yeah. Everybody listens to this radio show, apparently. It's true. You're very smart, Senja. This song's great. I mean, you kind of left her to do all of the cultural festival stuff. Why is there a tank? Hmm. Yes, let's. Sundere service? Great. I need my own personal tsundere service, please. Again, not as big of a fourth wall break as last time, but still a pretty big one. Okay, that was French. I didn't speak French. Oh, cat's gone. Cat's gone. Same day evening. Oshino Shinobu. Oh. Okay, so that kind of connection I made in that kind of first episode was correct. Hello, cat. Doesn't help me. I got out. Yeah, you gotta tie her up harder. I mean, he had other things on his mind. I just realized I'm into this. Like a good old, like a Looney Tune. He loves it. Help you out finding Shinobu. Okay. I wonder what spurred that on during Golden Week then. Hmm. Yeah. But then it just kind of filled up again. Now it's at its limit again in record time. It's almost like it's not sustainable. The spotlight there was good too. Jokes aside. It's kind of a reverse situation from last time. Like Shinobu was looking for Hanakawa during Golden Week. Now the cat's looking for Shinobu during this week. Oh, sapping the energy. Later, dog. Gotcha. I was about to say if it's a boobs thing, right? Didn't literally that happen last episode with like actual Hanakawa? Man, I'm dead. No, that happened last episode. Probably not, but here we are. Alright, about halfway through. Got the night eyes. I like how just nobody's anywhere in this whole entire show. Again, somebody's mentioned that it's like Araragi POV. Look for Shinobu. Okay, I'm gonna need to read that. Said something about hair care. I know what a hair care is. What, cats? Oh, okay. The occult. Kind of standing on the light there, which is cool as well. Is that something about a scaredy cat? Yeah, right. Yeah, good point. Well, she was seen at the donut shop, so maybe she was hungry. Of course. It's how we're able to exist. Interesting. Okay, interesting. As with a lot of things in the show, it's about perception. What somebody thinks about you is really important. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. I'm dense too, I've got no clue. Good point. She was kind of like Shinobu and Araragi kind of had a link there. Explains why she was staring at Sengoku as well. Don't know. Interesting. Is Shinobu very close by? And maybe invisible or something? What is that? Okay, what's the source of the stress? I think it's multifaceted, right? Here it comes, like, give me a kiss or bone me or something like that. Or maybe I'm off base. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I thought that much was obvious. I can't do that. Yeah. It's a good lead into our final episode. But but yeah, obviously no. It's Senjo. We just had the scene with Senjo a couple episodes ago. I still think it's lame if they use Shinobu to get rid of the meddlesome cat here. I think there's a way to do it in an emotional way that kind of resonates and kind of says something about all the characters involved, rather than just relying on the old method. But we'll see. Maybe Shinobu comes through and does it anyway, and it's fine. The background there, I don't know if you guys have played Neo Automata, but it gives me Neo Automata vibes. This was another pretty horny episode, I must say. Between there was some questionable shots of Hachikuji. There was the scene with Sengoku, and there was the whole cat situation as well. Not that I'm complaining; it's just something I've noticed. Oh, there's a cat there at the end as well. That'll be next time on. Yeah, righty, yeah. Think we're just gonna jump right in for a bit of analysis. Yeah, pretty great episode, honestly. Kind of an underrated one, I must say. Understated, I should say. I love the look of the episode. I didn't really mention it much in the reaction portion, but all the night scenes were just shot beautifully, and the use of light was great. Like as she was bouncing on the light too. This scene here is very climactic, looking. The one that's on screen right this second, actually. Which I think this is from the next episode. Now that I'm thinking about it, I should go all the way down here. But yeah, we've built up to kind of a nice conclusion here for the arc. We've set it up. I don't know anybody who thought that the last reveal was surprising at all. I don't. I certainly didn't think it was. Um, that she lacked Araragi. Like I thought that was pretty obvious, and I think Araragi was kind of blind for not seeing it. If I'm perfectly honest, but anyway, I like how we got a little scene with all the characters. I'll mention it in the reaction portion, but I think I'll explain why I like and dislike the joke they used. But anyway, we'll see. Either way, I've got it up on screen now. I'm just going to play it. I'm going to pause it whenever I see something to talk about. I've got a new opening to go through, but conversely, I don't have any text to read, which is good. Either way, I'm just going to pause it when there's something cool to talk about. So we kind of have this first scene. I thought it was very comic book villainy, I guess I should say. Kind of this nyahaha you hear along the city skyline, and sets up that we've kind of trapped the meddlesome cat. Kind of like, I don't know, burning a witch at a stake was the kind of vibes I got there, which is a little bit interesting. Maybe a little bit loaded, anyway. But I like the text along the screen. I thought that was a nice touch. Why is Black Hanakawa back? I thought we sealed her during Golden Week. Maybe the cause of the problem's back, Araragi. The stress. I don't know. I think Araragi's been kind of naive here. I think he should have known, like, at least Hanakawa was stressed. She's continued to be stressed. She's exhibited signs of stress, like a lot. It's not that hard to figure out for mine, but maybe I'm just maybe I have the perception of somebody that's watching it from afar, from a media perspective, rather than the character actually in the situation. But I digress. Oshino Meme says he put a bell around her neck. That's at the first I thought this was a literal bell, and I thought that was funny, but it turns out that the bell was the headaches. So he made sure that she has headaches every single time that this thing is going to appear. But I thought she had headaches during Golden Week as well. Anyway, doesn't matter. And again, of course, Hanakawa, being Hanakawa, kind of pushed him away when he worried about the headaches. Like, Hanakawa's caught between a rock and a hard place here, right? Because she obviously likes Araragi. That's been on the cards for a while, right? So when Araragi shows concern about the headaches, she obviously appreciates that, likes that. But also she feels guilty knowing that Senjogahara is also already dating Araragi, and she feels like she might be taking him away or any of these kind of things. And then there's that whole thing about being a good girl, and would a good girl try to steal somebody's boyfriend away even if that's not what he's doing at all and he's just concerned about you? It's an interesting situation to be sure, and one where both sides of Hanakawa, the side of loving Araragi and also wanting to be a good girl, kind of come into conflict. It's interesting. Hanako, like as always, I've said she's a fascinating character. Probably my favorite. It's her or Senjogahara. Araragi's not bad too, and we'll talk about that when we do some wrap up stuff. I don't know if I'll do that in a separate video or this video, but Araragi compared to your typical kind of harem protagonist is just so much better. It's mind-boggling. He actually has things going on. It's awesome. But yeah, that's more wrap-up stuff. I could talk about that later. So Oshino kind of gives a good point here, which is, do you reckon 17 years of stress would be soaked up immediately? And that's why I thought, oh yeah, maybe it's just lingering stress, especially considering her family situation and needing to plan the cultural festival and still be a good girl and the stuff with Araragi and everything else. Like, of course, this thing would manifest again in a matter of months. Like, that just makes sense. Um, but then it turns out it's for a very specific reason, and maybe that's where the bit of the shock value comes from. Is that Hanakawa was fine doing everything else. It's that Araragi is majority of the stress caused. Even if we've got the reason, neither you nor I can do anything about it. I know somebody that could do something about it, Araragi. Anyway, enough Oshino. Bring out Shinobu, bring out the vampire. We've got the cat here. We know how this works, right? But as I flagged last episode, there's one thing different. Shinobu is not present. Shinobu went to get some donuts in Nevada and hasn't been seen since. Uh, I've got a little theory that Shinobu is actually very close by and waiting for very specific words out of Araragi. Again, it's this kind of theme coming back a couple times here, which is Araragi being too nice to the point where he becomes very important to a lot of people and obviously can't fulfill everybody's expectations of him all at once. So obviously, I don't think Shinobu's is romantic. I think it's a little more occult than that. But they've got a connection there, of course. So seeing Araragi put all this different focus on these different oddities or different kind of arcs in the show kind of makes her feel a little less wanted and thus runs away. I thought it was just hunger motivated and that she was just pissed off that she couldn't find donuts or that Oshino took the donuts away. And again, maybe I'm completely off base and the cat's talking shit in that scene later, but I don't know, it makes sense to me. It kind of fits with the themes of the show. You can't be all things to everybody all the time. Hanakawa is evidence of that. This is what happens when you do that. What will Araragi's decision be? Can he try to be all things to everybody all at once, or will he eventually need to choose one to put most of his focus into? Can he continue being the Araragi he's been up to this point, who is a extreme try-hard, put all his effort into for the sake of somebody else, extremely selfless? Can he keep doing that? Is it sustainable? What does the Nadeko Snake arc have to say about that? We're going to see, because this is the arc immediately after, right? Is kind of having these protagonistic things going on. Is that sustainable? Is it the work of fiction? Is he just trying to look cool? All these kind of things, right? Interesting stuff to talk about, and again, very meta, very writerly. I like it. Specifically, Oshino says Shinobu left on a journey to find herself. I thought she just ran away. Does he know more than he's letting on? Maybe. Now we have a new opening. New opening. Um, it's the same song. It's a similar visual techniques and artistic style, especially with the black and white backgrounds with the different colors laid on top. But this one features an animated Hanakawa as opposed to a real life Hanakawa. Just wondering what they're trying to say there. Um, but as a result, there's different things to look at. I'm not going to go frame by frame, considering the song's the same. It's all about the two sides of her, and I'm pretty sure the song's the same. It sounded the same. And yeah, the song's about the two different sides of Hanakawa and loving somebody and trying to find a balance between those things and kind of torn between these two sides of herself. I mean, yeah, all pretty regular stuff now that we've seen most of the arc. It's basically what the arc's about, as with all these opening songs. Either way, I'm gonna have a little look at the visuals, maybe pull up some key ones, but it also got a little bit naked, so I won't pause on many of those frames. But anyway, I'm rambling. But okay, I feel kind of dumb because there's one thing that I missed in the last couple of openings is the triangle symbolism. Of course, it's a love triangle. I'm dumb. I'm stupid. Uh, it's kind of more of a prism, but we're not. It's semantics. So that's probably the symbolism there. I'm thinking there was some text on screen, a little bit different to the kind of the location names from the last opening. Some passionless observer, something like that. Tear at the root. What's a choice lines there? Hopelessly devoted or something like that. Again, more just references to the situation Hanakawa finds herself in, torn between the two sides. Should I be a good girl? Should I not? How does Araragi impact into all this? Tear at the root. Tear at the root of the stress. Is the stress Araragi? Some interesting stuff for sure. And again, I'm pretty sure we're going to get an opening next episode. If we don't, maybe I'll go back through and pause in some more detail. But yeah, I really enjoyed that opening. Again, I've said the song is very kind of theatrical. I don't really see us continuing that theatrical thing with the cat very much. I guess the nyahahas through the sky was a little bit kind of epic and movie quality. But that's maybe grasping at straws. I was more looking at more old Hollywood kind of references, but yet to see as many. But as I said before, we don't really have any text to read, so that should be good. We should just be able to keep going on with the episode. So Araragi is kind of desperately searching for Shinobu all across the city. Kind of worries about her condition, like she doesn't have any money. She's probably hungry. In two ways, probably hungry like food hungry and hungry like blood hungry. As well as her just being a little kid, like she's probably tired and maybe somebody's taken her. Any of these kind of things, right? But we also have some parameters which we explain later, like Shinobu can't exist as far away from Araragi, if that makes any sense. They've got some kind of occult spiritual tie there, so she has to be in the city somewhere. That's one parameter. Another thing that Araragi does here is calls everybody, which is nice. We get to see a little bit from each of the characters. Who does he start with here? I think he starts with Hachikuji, which, yeah, he doesn't call Hachikuji. He was just kind of checking the time because Hachikuji doesn't have a phone. And also Hachikuji, I don't even know how that would work if Hachikuji could answer a phone. Anyway, it's unclear. So Hachikuji continues the theme, says, hey, you need help finding people. And I'm willing to help and all these kind of other things. But then there's this pyramid bit, which I don't get, which I've read again. It's like trying to find a mummy in a pyramid. It's like, that big? We have to search a place that... A pyramid's big? I guess they are. But I thought pyramids were kind of just like tall structures, and then the tombs were kind of more underneath. But I thought it would be pretty easy to find a mummy in a pyramid. Strange metaphor there by the child. Next on the list of people to call is Sengoku or Nadeko, whatever we're calling her. One thing I'll note is the band-aid on the elbow there. I'm just wondering what that's from. I can't really think last episode if she fell or anything, but could be wrong. And they wouldn't put it in the show if there wasn't a meaning. Maybe. Or maybe it's just a band-aid and I'm overanalyzing it. I don't know. One thing I liked here was that they kind of reconnected the joke from last episode, where Hanakawa was talking about the radio show and different people writing into the radio show about different problems, and or different skits and that kind of thing, and it's revealed that, or kind of revealed, maybe she just took it from the show, that they all listen to the same radio show. That Sengoku was what was it? Let me find her name. Yeah, Miss I love big bear cats is it equals to Nadeko. Funny, I thought this part of the joke was funny. Nice little connective tissue there. Then they do the joke two more times, and I'm like, not as funny. I wish they kind of kept it at one. Mostly because I didn't really remember the other stories as much. I remembered this one because they talk about it the most last episode, but the other two kind of just went straight over my head. I know there's rule of threes in comedy and that kind of thing, but I wish they just kept it to one. I thought it would have been funnier. I guess it's increasingly ridiculous, and that's kind of the joke. I don't know. Anyway, and then probably my favorite of kind of the people they talk to here. I mean, the Senjogahara one's pretty good as well for different reasons, but this one's definitely the funniest. Like Kambaru just playing this weird arcade game that has like cards, which is a bit strange, and just playing it in front of a bunch of kids like hour after hour. Like the kids want to play. She's just stealing it. And the joke here at the start's very good. Like, I specialize in the B dash. Currently employed as Araragi's love slave. Like, this is just how she answers the phone. Very funny stuff. Like, just trolls him. Like, it's the only machine open in the entire arcade. Uh, and she's been using it for like hours. She used, what was it, 3,000 yen on this? $30 essentially. Okay, and then we start with Senjogahara, immediate slam shot. I'm not going anywhere. Kind of fair enough. Like you kind of left her to do all the cultural festival stuff. And also, I think Hanakawa has informed Senjogahara not to get involved in this particular situation. Feels again like Senjogahara and Hanakawa have a little bit of history that I'm not quite grasping at the moment, but it's fine. I love this. I love the colors of this particular scene. Whenever they do like kind of okay, so each of the kind of arcs take place like events will happen during the day, transpire through the afternoon, and kind of occur mostly at night. And whenever we get these scenes with kind of the sunset colors and that kind of thing. Uh, I find it really effective. They love their oranges, they love their purples. It's kind of their bag. I like how Senjogahara essentially guesses the plot the same way I kind of did. She's like, okay, so Hanakawa's got trouble, and the last time that Hanakawa had trouble, we needed Shinobu, so that's the reason why you're trying to find Shinobu. It's like, yes. That's exactly what it is. So is it Hanakawa told me to pay attention to the cultural festival, or Hanakawa told me not to get involved? I think it could be interpreted either way. I think there's a little bit of foreshadowing for the next episode. You should see this through in your own way, just like always. This is Senjogahara kind of telling Araragi to continue his main kind of modus operandi up to this point, which is try hard, be selfless, be like a protagonist, try to help everybody in the way that only Araragi can. And I think that's sound advice going forward. We're going to have to see if he takes this advice or not, or if Senjugahara is deemed wrong in the situation, which will also be interesting. I'm a big fan of Sundere service. They should offer this service to other people as well. I would appreciate it. I'd appreciate my own personal Sundere service. Again, just a little fourth wall break, but it's nice, you know. Like, I'm a tsundere, I'm gonna do the tsundere thing. And then she says, it's not like I care about you or anything, but please come home okay. Great. Awesome stuff. And kind of Oshinomeme comes to the roof and finds that the cat that he tied up there, like a witch, has flown away on her broomstick. And that kind of sets up the conceit for the second half of the episode, which is the cat is loose as well. And what is the cat going to do? So you kind of get a flashback. Well, another flashback. A flashback to a flashback that I've previously seen. Um, where this was in the kind of montage in the first episode, I want to say. Where we saw this character here. And I'm like, that character is strikingly similar to a different character we see later in Oshino Shinobu. Are they the same? Are they different? What's going on? This implies that they are the same character. Uh, I originally thought it was like a parent or something to that effect, or some other master vampire. And we get a little bit of knowledge about it, but I think we're going to dive into it later down the series about perception of Shinobu and how that gives her power. And Araragi perceiving her as a little girl, as a normal little girl, a human little girl, is key to sealing her power. Or at least that's what I got out of the scene. I'll read it again and tell you if I'm wrong. But that's interesting, and I wonder where that's going later on, or as I should say, in the past, where it has happened. So we get this scene here as well. Atonement. You will be my responsibility for the rest of my life. And who's talking here? Apologies. Araragi's talking there. Okay. So yeah, whatever happened in the past, there's an intrinsic connection between Shinobu and Araragi that I think Araragi's kind of stepped on. Again, the implication is that, or that the cat makes, is that he's focused too much on other people and not on Shinobu, and Shinobu feels kind of left by the wayside, in a way, unloved, neglected, these kind of feelings. I wonder where we go from here. I wonder if it's Shinobu jumping out and saving the day because Araragi figures out something related to Shinobu's disappearance. Again, I've got a theory that Shinobu is just very closely nearby but invisible and waiting for Araragi to say a certain thing, and that's what's going to save the day. But I also would like them, Hanakawa and the Meddlesome Cat and Araragi, to kind of figure things out by themselves as well, kind of sort through their emotional issues in an adult way. That'd be appreciated as well, but I understand there's a longer time span for the series, and maybe we're going to drag this out a little bit. I just had another thought as well. Maybe the triangle in the opening, or the triangular prism, is kind of related to Hanakawa, the Meddlesome Cat, and Araragi. That could be another triangle we could make there. Interesting either way. So then the cat kind of shows up, and that's kind of where the rest of the episode goes, is kind of having a conversation with the cat. How'd you sneak by Oshino? Moving without making noise is like taking candy from a baby for a cat, which makes sense. I want to take this opportunity a little bit to talk about what the cat means in relation to stress, because I've had some thoughts about it over the past week as well. So cats are associated with different things. Cats sleep a lot. And now sleeping is a good way to relieve stress and that kind of thing. It's literally the symbol for rest. But also the rest of the time, you know how cats run around at like 3 a.m. and all over the house and rip shit apart and try to play around and that kind of thing. It's another way to relieve stress as well. I think it's a very curious kind of animal to attach to this particular story and oddity, and very purposeful in that regard. Again, I could go into more symbolism about cats being kind of self-motivated and perceived to be selfish and also perceived to be feminine and all these other kind of things, right? But I think that's taking a bridge too far for this reaction at the moment. Oshino, you've been pretty useless this time around. You let Shinobu and Black Hanakawa get away. Yeah, I don't know if there's something else going on with Oshino as well. Perhaps to do with the burning that we saw him doing. I initially thought that this was something to do with getting Shinobu back, like putting a certain smell in the air, trying to attract her back to home base, if that makes any sense. But potentially not. Potentially he's got something else going on, and all of this happening at once. As he said, when it rains, it pours. So he's having a very busy day. Potentially three different things going on for Oshino at the moment. I like how Araragi looks at this, and then he's just like, shit, I just realized I'm into this. Get a Looney Tunes, or I shouldn't say Looney Tunes. Well, maybe it is Looney Tunes. I forget what it is, but like the jaw hitting the floor. It's an old trope. I know it from Mask, and Mask is also probably stealing it from some other cartoon. But yeah, the jaw hitting the floor and then the tongue rolling out. So it's classic. So you know he's feeling horny as always. He's even got like the booba eyes going on. He's feeling himself. So yeah, he says kind of a tongue twist involving a lot of I'm guessing na sounds. So she says nya instead, and then he finds that cute. He's an absolute degenerate, our Araragi. So the implication from the cat here is that the stress relief during Golden Week worked a great deal. Like in those 9 days, as she normally could in a year, she got rid of that much stress. So maybe Oshino's hypothesis at the start of the episode is wrong, and the stress is mostly this time related to Araragi. I mean, what has happened between Golden Week and now? Araragi has gotten a girlfriend. Interesting. I like this scene here where she kind of hugs him from behind and he gets his energy sapped. Because initially you just think Araragi's being like a pervert again and reacting to the boobs hitting his back. But I'm like, that literally happened last episode and he was fine. Well, not fine, but you know what I mean. And then it's like, oh yeah, she saps energy. Right. Of course. So I'll mention it once here again. I really like these shots of the city at night. I think it does a great job of kind of capturing a mood that we haven't really seen. We haven't really been like CBD during night, which is a great look for the show. Just very abandoned, helps with the kind of abandoned industrial aesthetic they got going on. Great use of light, great shading, lots of good stuff. Classic Monogatari, brilliant backgrounds and art. It's good. Oh, I see. Okay. Well, one, I know what Tale of the Heiki is, I think. Is that like Heiki Monogatari? It's kind of like a classic kind of feudal Japan-y kind of thing, like classic Japanese tale. I know it from the Naoki Yamada adaptation that came out last year. And the cat here heard monkey and snake and then assumed that they were talking about a new. Strange. Again, very Japanese. This is where the cat kind of drops some knowledge about oddities, right? Oddities have certain conditions that they kind of need to follow to be oddities, right? There are certain things, certain expectations around oddities that need to be kind of expressed and fulfilled for them to continue to exist as they exist. And that humans and oddities will never be side by side. They'll never be together, if that makes any sense. It's hard to be friends with an oddity. They can't exist together, is the line she uses, even. It's, it's a strict line between oddities and humans. And I'm wondering if that's where we're going as an overarching theme of the story, if we're going to try to mend the relationship between oddities and humans overall. Uh, I don't think for this show, personally. I think there's certain rules of the universe, and those rules just stay. And it would be a little bit cheesy, but we'll see. The cat brings up, do you even know why Shinobu would have ran away? And then Aragi's like, no clue. I've got no clue. And it's like, well, at least Oshino knows his place. Well, what does knows his place mean? We must be believed in, dreaded, feared, shunned, revered, respected, hated, loathed, and prayed to. Very specific set of like commands and that kind of thing that are needed for an oddity to even manifest. They use the word need there. That's how we're able to exist. And any different treatment of these oddities by anybody else, any difference of this perception maybe changes it. Again, maybe I'm leaping too far from no information, but this is what it kind of seems like to me. And in a story so much about perception, seeing something like this is actually very interesting. Then the cat says, approaching us as a friend is just actually kind of annoying. So does Shinobu have any other vampire powers that she could still use, like turning invisible or turning into a shadow or any of these kind of things? Not unless she's close to me. Well, that's my little indicator there that Shinobu actually is close to him at the moment, has been close to him the whole time, and has just been invisible. But again, maybe I'm incorrect. But that's my little prediction. And then Araragi has some kind of epiphany about the perception of Shinobu as a child, manifesting her as a child, and maybe since his focus has been taken away from Shinobu, maybe she's been able to manifest into something else. Again, unclear. But we're talking about some interesting stuff here. It's got my brain ticking. I like it. Yeah, and again, this makes a lot of sense to me, what the cat is saying here about feeling less special when up against all of the other oddities all at once. And yeah, I think that's kind of what's happening. It also explains a little part about Shinobu kind of staring down all of the different women and also the oddities that have come into Aragi's life. So this was interesting here as well. It feels like the cat's trying to coax something out of Araragi, like, do you even need the vampire anymore? Without Shinobu, why are you looking for her? You could become human. And then Araragi in true Araragi fashion, I can't just let her go, and all these kind of things, right? But to me, it looks like the cat kind of knows what's going on a little bit, or at least knows where Shinobu is, and is kind of teasing some stuff out of Araragi as a result. Again, could be completely off base, but that's what I think. Just gonna play like a few seconds here, and it's on 1.5 speed, so it might look a little bit weird, but like the clouds moving that quickly is it's such a great technique. Gives the scene a lot of personality, and kind of again, I said this feels climactic. This feels like finale esque. It's good. Kind of, and it's almost like a Dark Souls like boss arena that they're standing in right now. It's awesome. Yeah, and here we get to the climactic kind of little confrontation. Well, if you didn't want to use Shinobu, We could just get rid of the cause of the stress, the cause of what's causing Mistress Hanakawa stress. It's like, well, we don't know. And then the cat's like, well, I know exactly what's causing it. And you, of all people, can deal with it easily. And then we get it. Hanakawa loves Araragi. Again, I saw this coming from a long way out. I forget exactly when I clued onto it, but when I clued onto it, more and more evidence kind of stacked up to say that she liked Araragi. One specific one I can think of at the moment is when she looks at the phone and sees Araragi's notifications. She smiles, kind of lets the phone ring a little bit whilst looking at it, kind of savoring the moment. I remember that specific scene. But yeah, at any rate, I don't know how this would be kind of a reveal for anybody. I think if you're in the know, you should know, you know? Hold up, they've got like some snow halation lighting cues here. Insane. And that's where we leave off for next one. There was also a little scene there of Senju Gahara cutting a ribbon. Just reminding you that Senju Gahara's in the show. Because she doesn't show up much. But anyway. Uh, I actually really love that episode now that I've gone through it again. A lot of double meaning in everything that everybody's saying. Or maybe I'm just reading too hard again. But it kind of made my imagination kind of run wild a little bit, and that's fun. I like that. At any rate, this is going to be the end of me today, but yeah. You'll see me in a different shirt in like 3 seconds. But thanks for watching today. I'm going to leave it for me tomorrow. Yeah, hi, it's welcome back. It's the next day. It's a bit gloomier outside. I don't know if that's an ill omen for the end of this season, but we're gonna have to see. So what happened last episode? Yeah, we're kind of on the roof, and we're looking for Shinobu, and then the meddlesome cat said what it did. Okay, that's where we're at. We're gonna see where we go from there. Let me pop that up on screen. Cool. What's the time code on this sucker? 25 minutes and 33 seconds, so sync up at your leisure. There will also be a picture-in-picture version of this, I imagine, if I get my shit into gear and make it today. Alright, I'm just going to give it a 3, 2, 1, and we're going to see what happens. Rightio. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. He looks sick. Somebody loves stealing something without reservation. Okay. The eyes there are nuts. There are people who aren't capable of that. I think this is more impactful from an Araragi perspective rather than an audience perspective. She cut a little Araragi. It's not a joke. See, look at this. It looks like it's about to be a boss fight. I'm not lying. On the kind of the Ferris wheel in the background. Why do you? Yeah. Or the live action shot, flaunting it in front of her. Exactly. No. Exactly. It makes perfect sense. And there we go, triangle. Oh, she hates it. Yeah. And then, yeah, this opening hits the way it does now, of course. Even that, the hair kind of pulling in two different directions. There's something there. Yeah. Again, I said it before, but I think this is more impactful from a character Araragi perspective and his kind of overall perception levels and that kind of thing, rather than us that are a bit more media savvy and probably saw it coming a little bit more. So, of course, this isn't a big reveal for me, who's been seeing this coming for ages. Um, but yeah, Araragi is shocked because he never thought that this would happen. Some of these shots of Hanakawa, like the one where she was crying, that's just tragic, bro. And this one where she's running, before we get a little bit more lewd here. And then, yeah, the same shot with the hair kind of going either way as the cat. Does her skin tone change when she's the cat as well? She seems a lot darker. Either way, I don't know how we're going to solve any of this, because obviously, hopefully they talk it out. That's all I want, really. Final episode. Yes, I'm well aware. Since spring break. Yeah, this is like the opening scene of the show. That's a nice kind of circle. Like that. It was quick. It's actually kind of crazy that Hanakawa was there that day. Yeah. And yeah, I've kind of, yeah. As soon as a character says I've never lied in my entire life, they're a liar. What was that reference? I missed something there. Oh, this is great. Look at the art. End of presentation. What is the plane? Hmm? If anybody would know, it's the cat. Yeah, and I got rid of a lot of it. Hmm. Interesting. Or the hands are great there. Because you could only see the sleeves. Yeah, of course. Hmm. Well, that's not how love works. Well, now he's given the choice. That's a scary looking Halloween. I'm guessing a haunted house or something. Neko. Hmm. Huh. Yeah, I agree. Oh, interesting. I wonder what happened during spring break. Oh, and then the spiral staircase there. That's great. This is really good too. Very clever. This feels like Disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya in a way. I don't know why. Just got those vibes. Hmm. Hmm. So she was just kind of lying or coping a little bit. Yeah, so it just doesn't make like people like you. Okay. No. No, they all fight with him constantly. Well, maybe Sengoku. Oh, like mean to herself. Too dumb to lie. Poor old Hanakawa. Alright, back to the topic at hand. Yeah. Uh. Are we trusting the cat? I don't know. The cat looks a little bit mean. Oh no! All right, here we are at the last stretch. Teleports behind you. Well, that's great. Now that shading there, that reminds me of Sengatsu a lot. I mean, yeah, she did kind of say that. Oh, again, they've reversed the colors, like when he was fighting with Kambaru. Owl? What did I say about a boss fight? Hmm. Going for the throat. I will certainly kill you. Yeah, I would give my life. Right. Put a pin in that. I'm going to come back to that as well. I think that's very good as well. What they're doing there. What about Senjo? Oh yeah, the old Kambaru theorem. Hmm. Shineo. Yeah, maybe. I don't think it's going to help though. It's only help plenty of people. All right, kind of meta. I like that. Yeah, no. I wouldn't trust Hachikuji anyway. Okay, so how are you going to save this? All of them? Isn't that a little bit hypocritical, Araragi? Considering how much you thanklessly help everybody else? I thought you were nearby. Oh, sick. Yo, what the hell? That was insane? Interesting. She was in your shadow. Interesting. The shadow of the moonlight, yo. Are the ears gonna go? Yep. Okay. Interesting. She thought about it. I think is ultimately subservient. Until the last moment, forgot about Shinobu when referencing all the different people that he's helped. Right? Alright, bye. Overcast day. Overcast daybreak. Interesting. Alright, does Hanakawa have much memory of this? Yes. Maybe? I forget that line. Oh yeah, that was the line from the park back before. Because it is crucially important if she remembers what happens or not. Oh, great. When we're back here, we know we're safe. You get pinned. Interesting. No Oshino. Where's Oshino? He said he was going to leave town. Did he leave town? Oh, that was a similar shot there. That was great. Him just poking his head in. Being a doofus. Hmm. Yeah, that's crucial. Yeah, give it a couple seasons. Hello, Senja. I don't think you should give him that power. I like that. Oh, hello, everybody. Where is Oshino? Or Meme, I should say, I guess. Huh. That room where she fought. Damn, it's actually made me sad. Burning a bunch of stuff, huh? Okay. Was that the wave right at the end? Hmm. Why am I sad? It was like a final test. Yo. Is he gone, like, for good? Oh, look at that, like, action team shot. We're sick. We're gonna need to do all the occult stuff now. Oh, look at these two. Interesting. The the long-awaited cultural festival. And with that, it's finito, done. I have a lot of things to say about last episodes in one core anime. Even this is a little bit longer, but still, it's kind of the same criticism where they don't generally end well, especially if there's a longer source material kind of to draw from. To draw from, I should say. Pardon me. And I think it does an amazing job of feeling finalistic. What's the word? Feeling climactic. That's the word. As well as, you know, also continuing the story forward. It's clear the story isn't done. There's unresolved plot threads everywhere, pretty much. Um, but it also managed to reference the first episode in a couple of nice ways. Tie up a bunch of stuff, tie up enough loose ends, that kind of stuff, to feel complete in its own right. You could stop watching Bakemonogatari here and feel pretty good about it. Not that I am, but you could. So, put it in the context of when it came out, uh, this is what somebody would have experienced. This would be the story done unless they go to the source material until the next one comes out, which I don't know when the next one was. But but I think that's enough to tide you over, you know? You feel satisfied, and that's important, I think. And that's it. Oh, little thing there, right? That's it. Yeah, that was a great season of anime, man. I don't know what else to tell you. All right, let's hop into a little bit of analysis then. So, yeah, after taking a couple minutes to think about it all, I'm just kind of struggling what to say. I mean, it's really good. I don't know what else to tell you. Um, I think I'll get some more thoughts about the anime in totality as well as this episode if I just go through it all at once. And that's what I'm going to do. Yep, so as always, I'm just going to pause whenever I think of something, and I can kind of leave my thoughts about the entire show till the very end. Might do some ranking of episodes and that kind of thing, but I'm running short on time, so we'll see what happens. Love is something you would steal from someone without reservation. And then kind of the cat's eye kind of widening. If we think about the cat and Hanakawa as two sides of one coin, right? There's the whole black Hanakawa when the cat's white. They're essentially doing like a split personality thing, where they do retain some of the same emotions, but maybe exhibit them in different ways. I think this is the exact opposite of how normal Hanakawa would approach the situation. Which is why I like at the end how she kind of has little to no memory, or we think she has little to no memory of what's going on. If she does have memory, then that's even more evidence to how different this philosophy is, right? Hanako would never steal Araragi's love. It's just not who she is. But the exact opposite of Hanakawa in the Meddlesome Cat, as demonstrated by the visual differences as well as the personality differences, it's something that they would entirely do. Yeah, here it is. There are people who aren't capable of that, stealing love. And then we see Araragi kind of reminded of all the little clues we, the audience, have been seeing the whole time, the way Tanakawa kind of looks at him. There's a different interpretation to it all now that he's coming to the realization of. And that kind of little quick montage has ended with a pair of scissors, like cutting it. Like, oh yeah, I remember Hanako. I remember all these different things that she did, the times that she showed her love for me. But then I snip them because Senjo Gahara. And then, yeah, so if you bottle me up by loving Mistress, maybe I'll go away and all these kind of things. Then panned a shot of Senjogahara late at night working on the cultural festival. Also, side note, can students like stay overnight for a cultural festival? That's kind of insane. But she's cut a little araragi out of paper there. You can tell by the little hair thing. That's actually similar to the design that Kambaru sees Araragi as during her like nightmares or whatever. So constantly we're reminded, we're given, oh yeah, Hanakawa, 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 reminder of Senjogahara. You know, it's similar to how Araragi would be thinking about the situation. Like, oh my god, I never knew Hanakawa felt this way, and all these kind of things, right? Then, oh yeah, Senjogahara, of course, I could never. So yeah, at first Araragi's kind of just in denial about the whole thing. Like, what an awful joke, you could never do this, blah blah blah. But yeah, clearly he's just coping. I've noted it a couple times, but yeah, this it's like a boss arena, right? It does a great job of feeling climactic, like the sky in the background, the clouds and all that, the shining lights, the big open central location, two characters either side having a meaningful conversation. The final boss energy coming off the meddlesome cat here is quite fantastic. And yeah, the continued panning back to this triangle is more evidence to say, hey, the triangle actually means what I think the triangle means, which is a love triangle. So this is where the cat starts to get angry. Again, I've never seen Hanakawa show anger. I've seen her show like fake anger when she's like telling somebody to straighten up or that kind of thing, right? I've seen her pout. It's only exhibited through the meddlesome cat, which is kind of the other side of her personality. Another thing I noted is the only other time that I've seen Hanakawa kind of different is when her glasses kind of shade over, if that makes any sense. They shade over with the color white, the white of the cat's hair. There could be something there. Like, specifically, there's the scene where she's standing in a bunch of traffic, and then her kind of glasses like shade over, and then the cars aggressively drive by. It's a few episodes ago now, like good 4 or 5 or 6 maybe. But yeah, that was more evidence of kind of Hanakawa's other side coming through a little bit. And it was when she was talking about Senjogahara and Araragi. It makes sense, right? Hanakawa was acting like she was happy for my relationship the whole time, but that's the key word. She was acting. The headaches never stopped. It was just getting worse, right? Of course, Hanakawa wanted to be the good girl. She didn't want to rock the boat. That's not her. That hasn't been her since she was little, based on her family situation. Just makes sense, right? I know I keep talking about it, but the contrast here, right? We've got this very dark scene happening in real time, right? And then in this little dream sequence, little part, we've got the cat replaced by Hanakawa, and we've got very bright outside. Angry cat, hopeful, happy Hanakawa. And then we get to see Hanakawa cry in like 24 frames a second animation. It's fantastic. The repetition of a catchphrase here. I don't know everything, and then they just keeps going through that, keeps going through that, right? I don't know everything. I just know what I know. It's a phrase that is limiting, right? It demonstrates one's limitations. Like, I don't know how to approach this situation. Why do I feel this way? Can I steal Araragi? Is it right to steal Araragi? Why am I feeling this? Culminating in the scene, was it last episode or the episode before? A few episodes ago now, where she said, I don't know everything, I don't know anything. Kind of these feelings reaching a fever pitch in a way. There's these very quick shots of the live action Hanakawa we've been seeing in the openings as well. They love using their live action shots in the show. I've said it a number of times. But again, that's another contrast between live action Hanakawa, real life Hanakawa. What is it trying to say there? Is live action Hanakawa the real Hanakawa fading away? Or the fake Hanakawa fading away? Something like that. So that scene's insane. I don't know if I can kind of frame by frame it and find what is said on that text. Let's have a little look. That girl decided to hide her true feelings. Senjogahara wouldn't have been able to tell. But I couldn't have noticed something like that. Hanakawa, what have you... Hey, yo! I am insensitive. Then that talk about the future, although partly due to Oshino's influence, you can say that that was Hanakawa Tsubasa's grand journey of a broken heart, and she had a headache too, right after that career talk. That time she closed her eyes and moved to kiss. So yeah, I'm pretty sure all of that stuff is not meant to be seen at all. Like, that moved so quick. Like, I can't grab those subs. They're very hard to do so. I'm pretty sure I missed some as well. One for the diehards, I guess, the frame by framers. I don't know. Interesting one. So I didn't see anything different with the opening, but I'll give it one more look one more time. I guess more than anything, this opening's telling me. Uh, they're not hiding away from the sexual element to all of this as well. The physical attraction between, not between Hanakawa and Araragi, that's the problem. That Hanakawa has for Araragi as well. I think it goes beyond just trying to be titillating for the audience. I think there's a little bit more there um, in this kind of stuff. A deeper delve into Hanakawa's psyche and that kind of thing. And again, I'm talking about contrast. The contrast between the proper normal Hanakawa that we know and what she's actually feeling inside. So I'll talk about this in a number of times, how kind of circular this episode feels on the whole season. A number of references to the first episode, where this is the first time, I'm pretty sure this is reused animation from the first episode around what happened during spring break, just with a little bit more context now that we've watched the show. We're like, oh yeah, I remember seeing these visual elements, and now it's all coming together a little bit. It's nice. Here it explains that Hanakawa also saw this opportunity for like seeing this other side, seeing this occult stuff, seeing Araragi being involved with this occult stuff was an opportunity to break out of her mold that she's been forced into based on her childhood experience. This is my ticket out of my life right now, my life that I don't like. My have to be good, have to have good grades, be nice to everyone, be all things to everybody all the time. So, as well as being an attractive prospect, because it's what, a teenage vampire boy in her own year, of course that's attractive. It's also attractive as a difference to what her life is up to this point, her life that she's currently unsatisfied by. There's a focus on an aeroplane here. I'm not quite sure what that's meant to mean, rather than just a distraction. And they like cutting to random stuff in their scenes. I've said it a number of times. I think it's just one of those. No greater meaning. Maybe there is if you squint, but yeah. She didn't expect a rival to show up so fast and then move so quickly. Again, I noted it during the reaction, but Hanako was there that day, right? And after she learned of what happened, that's got to sting a little bit, right? Might go back and have another look at that scene in episode, it would be episode 4, I think, around what Hanako actually says during that scene, and if we can glean some greater meaning from it now that we know everything. Well, not everything, but you know what I mean. At that time, I thought Hanako was happy for me, but that was a lie as well. I've never told a lie in my entire life, is a line that Hanako has said. And of course, us being a little bit media savvy, of course, we know that whenever somebody says that, they're lying. That in itself is a lie because everybody lies all the time. Nobody's that perfect. Again, it's kind of breaking through this perfect image that we have of Hanako, right? This one that she's so carefully preserved. She's, again, Bakemonogatari, meaning on top of meaning on top of meaning on top of meaning. You can just keep taking stuff in different directions. I could sit here talking about this episode all day and what it means in the context of the rest of the season. I might try to get a bit of momentum now because I've been recording for like half an hour and I'm 5 minutes into the episode. So I'm going to speed it up a little bit if my phone stops making notification noises as well. Oh, the following is a presentation by Gekiden Inukari. I know Inukari. That's the Madoka, right? Oh, and then this makes perfect sense. Okay, alright. Interesting. Yeah, kind of the art in the background and what Hanakawa here kind of transforms into is very Madoka now that I think about it. Are they involved with the ED as well? Is this kind of their art style? Maybe. Don't know. It feels like fate, and then she kind of transforms here a little bit. Like she's the pauper turned princess and he's her prince. The mirror and the reflection have kind of changed here as well. But it's drawn not in the correct style. It's drawn like a fantasy. It's exactly what it was. I don't think Araragi ever felt that way about Hanakawa, right? He always saw her as a savior. It's a very different type of love, not romantic. So again, yeah, this is just fantasy. This is in her own mind. So again, we got the plane going on, but we're also cutting to this here, which is the hands kind of reaching out, and you initially don't know what they're trying to say with the hands. You think maybe it's the cat's hands, but they're kind of standing far away. Then you see the sleeves, and you're like, oh shit, it's Hanakawa. Of course it is. And then Hanakawa reaches out and embraces him eventually. This is combined with the thoughts and the dialogue of, again, Araragi's kind of in denial. Like, this can't be the only reason why she's stressed, right? and that causes anger from the cat, causes the cat to lash out eventually, right? How could you not know? Are you that dumb? A few months of heartache and that kind of thing, of course it can cause as much stress as years of familial abuse. I don't know about that one, but uh, teenagers in love, it's very stressful. Of course it is. Like, the cat has an eye to Hanako's actual emotions, right? That's kind of what we're saying with this kind of dichotomy. So the cat getting angry is in turn Hanako getting angry. Like, how dumb could you be? How dense are you? Of course it's all about you. I'm the one that would know. I'm literally the manifestation of that stress. Of course I know. Turns it back on Araragi here. What, haven't you ever really fallen for anyone? What is your relationship with Senjogahara? Is it actually real? If you haven't felt this way? Of course he feels this way, and he demonstrates that eventually, that he feels that way about Senjogahara. That he would, you know, in his last breath, essentially, he was like, oh, maybe I should die for Hanako's sake. Nah, fuck that. Senjogahara would kill Hanako anyway, so it's stupid. Also, why am I dying? I need to be with Senjogahara. The cat then bargains with Aragi further. If you really were grateful for Mistress, of course you'd do this for her. And then Aragi's like, nah, like, that would be cheating her feelings a little bit. Hanako would just be taking advantage of my debt to her. She doesn't want that. She wants actual love. And man, it's tragic. It's tragic for Hanako. Sucks to be her. There's nothing about Senjogahara I don't love. And now ain't that the cutest? Let's see how the cat responds. He's kind of calling out Hanako in a weird way. Like, Hanako should have done this. Hanako's weak for forcing the cat to do it. Again, I don't really understand this interpretation. I just think it's like this is the hidden emotions of Hanako kind of manifested in a way. The darker emotions, the lots of different emotions. Let's put it that way. I don't think it's essentially chickening out. I guess the Hanako that he knows should do it in her own words. I guess. I don't know. It's interesting. Maybe it cheapens it. Maybe it's the most courage of all to have someone like this do it for you. It's interesting. I don't know about that interpretation from Araragi. After all, you sacrifice yourself to save a mortally wounded vampire. Spring Break arc coming soon. So we'll see what happens there. But she says, of course you would know what this is like having done this. So we're going to look for that connection when we get to the Spring Break arc. Here the cat kind of says, if you're kind to everyone, that means no one's special. Calling out his kind of code of ethics, the Araragi code. I understand that because Mistress was kind to everybody as well. They're kind of reflections of themselves in a way. In that case, I'm left with no choice. There's no changing someone's feelings. I want to talk about this technique as well. This is another way that, again, we're getting circular with the season. This was one of the first scenes in the first episode. I said it reminded me of Disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya, in that it's not reusing, but kind of reinterpreting older footage, older scenes, with the characters in current time in those places, if that makes any sense. In Haruhi Suzumiya, it's got more plot implications. Here, it's just used for an effect. But I think it works well, right? It reminds us of the journey we've been on with these characters up to this point. Helps to feel climactic. Makes it feel complete. I've kept saying puts a nice bow on it. That's all we want. I think there's some interesting stuff about how similar Araragi's kind of need to please everybody and save everybody, and he's self-sacrificing stuff. How there's some similarities from that to how Hanakawa thinks about being a good person, good grades, good, nice to everybody, all this kind of stuff. Are they the real you? If you're nice to everybody, is anybody special? Are you just putting on a mask for somebody else? We're gonna have to see. Again, you take it in a million different directions. That's the beauty here. Here they kind of talk about the vampire charisma they brought up a couple episodes ago as well. I didn't think that this was like a real thing. Maybe it was a subconscious thing, but here they straight up call it out. It's not real. It was Hanakawa's kind of coping mechanism for why she may have fallen for Araragi and why she should forget about him. Maybe it's fake. Maybe I've just been charmed by a vampire. But of course, Hanakawa deep down knows that that's not how it works. Hanako was merely using this as kind of a coping mechanism and to explain why all these different girl oddity things are surrounding Araragi. Again, I think that's more to the oddities attract more oddities theory, as well as Araragi's kind of philosophy regarding self-sacrifice and doing everything for all people at once and all that kind of stuff. Now, what does this remind me of? Like different copies of people like speaking to each other. It's like Smeagol and Golem. Some End of Evangelion in it, maybe. And there's a bunch of different Shinjis talking and that kind of stuff. It's meant to internalize the different sides of the thought process. Oh, Kaguya-sama. It's not up at the moment, I don't know why. But there's a scene in season 2 where they do that as well. But again, it's used for more comedic effect. Just some kind of wish, a painful wish of I'm wishing this was some oddity. I wish I could explain this away by the occult, but this is the way I feel and I have to deal with that. It's tragic again. Fuck Hanakawa's a good character. Love me some Hanakawa. Again, they're talking a little bit about the contrast here, where uh, the smart Hanakawa wouldn't be stupid enough to do something like telling Araragi that she loves him, right? She's pushing that stuff to the other cat, but maybe that's the way that she wanted it. Maybe that's the only way she can cope with this kind of thing. It's interesting. I don't know. Yeah, this is when Araragi goes, but we need to find that Shinobu. Kind of trying to get the whole show back on track in a way. So here's where you read the eyes in a way, right? You're like, there's one other way, to get rid of me without relying on the vampire. And you're like, oh, I'm not trusting this at all. Yeah, just go stand over there. And she specifically says, and something that'll come back later, go stand somewhere where there's no shadow. So the cat's been clued into the whole Shinobu situation the whole time. Yep, then the cat kind of teleports behind him, starts sucking his soul. This kind of shading stuff here reminded me of Sengetsu no Lion, especially the second opening, I think it is, where they use a lot of this technique. Same studio, so there might be a connection there. Again, a load of harsh cuts here, a load of different images all in your eye at once. The main part I wanted to talk about here is the direct connection between the cat kind of sucking his energy away, draining his energy, and the loving embrace of Hanakawa flashed here, right? Again, the contrast, two sides of the same coin, right? You can draw so much from that, and I don't really want to go off on a tangent right now, but we won't talk about it. But man, it's interesting. I talked about it in the reaction as well. The difference in colors here, the kind of what do you call it? Like the mirroring the colors, the photo negative of kind of the rest of the scene. I'm guessing this is due to the cat's kind of night eyesight, and you got Araragi to kind of stand in the shadow. That makes sense. The only other time we've seen that is when the two characters that could see in the dark were fighting as well in episode whatever it was, the end of Kambaru's arc. The cat justifies this attack as, well, Haruka was still stressed. The thing I didn't do last time was kill, right? I only drained energy. I didn't go far enough to eliminate the stress. Which I don't think that's a good philosophy at all. Certainly something that Hanakawa wouldn't believe in. It's like, I owe Hanakawa my life. I would do anything for Hanakawa. I would die for Hanakawa. All these kind of stuff, right? She's my savior. If that's what she wants, I'll do it. I don't think that's really what she wants. But anyway. And again, like the start of the episode, slam cut to Senjogahara. Hanakawa, 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 Senjogahara, back to my senses. This is what I actually think. But here it's for a different reason. If Hanakawa kills me, Senjogahara will kill her for sure. Not the way I would have taken it, but sure. Again, I said it was kind of the Kambaru theorem, right? Where that was the whole reason why the rainy devil couldn't take control or whatever, right? Because it voided the contract. When kind of Hanakawa said that if you killed Araragi, I would kill you. I would never love you, right? Interesting that's coming back as well. Helps the season feel whole. It's nice. The cat says, maybe you could try calling someone for help. You've certainly helped a lot of people in your time so far. Goes through the people in his head, right? Goes through Hachikuji, Kambaru, Sengoku, Senjogahara. There's some stuff here about how people save themselves on their own. They don't need help from others. Who is Araragi to say that? Is that not hypocritical? If you've been saving everybody this whole time, do people really save themselves or do they need help from others? And which other do we get to help? He calls out, save me. Save me, Shinobu. And then it comes full circle, right? The kind of stuff with Shinobu, and Shinobu feeling kind of left out and unloved with the prevalence of all these other new girls entering his life. not just other new girls, other new occult people with different problems and that kind of thing, right? Finally calling out and acknowledging Shinobu, who's been hiding in his shadow this entire time, like I kind of predicted. Calling out to her finally causes her to emerge and proceed to beat ass. Now, I wish I was more of an animation nerd. I can't tell you why this looks as good as it does, but it's some of the best animation I've ever seen. Like this part here in particular, let's just frame by frame it. So it's animated on ones, I can tell you that. The background movement there is so nice. The camera is really like dynamic. Again, I'm out of my depth here. I think there's smears or something. Again, I don't know. But it looks awesome. One of the real wow moments of production from this episode for sure. So we kind of got the best of both worlds there. We kind of got the resolution to the Shinobu stuff, which needed something to happen with it, but we also got all the talking out we needed between kind of Hanakawa, well not Hanakawa, the kind of the cat and Araragi. They talked it out to a point where I was satisfied with both parties and what they thought, and have learnt information even if the conflict isn't done. But we also got kind of a little bit of resolution for Shinobu. Best of both worlds. I really loved it. I know I've said it a number of times, but the production on this show is insane. Just the number of different frames and number of different things going on, and I think they've used their budget in the right places. I lamented a little bit early in the show that it was a little bit low budget in a couple spots, and noticeably so, especially during the second arc, I think. But they've definitely made up for it by using the budget in the right spots. You meant to use your budget on your climactic episodes. You meant to leave a great impression coming out of a show. It's very important. And just, yeah, again, I'm astounded by the level of effort put into it. You just don't see this every day. You know what I mean? In contrast to kind of the thing we have going on when we finish arcs, kind of the day breaks, the sun shining through, everything's fine, right? Well, kind of. We've got day breaks, but it's cloudy. The problem is not solved. It's merely expounded upon a little bit. We don't know how much Hanakawa remembers. She doesn't seem to be exhibiting that she remembers much of it, but again, we don't know. And we're just left with a cloudy day. Again, a resolution, but not everyone's not happy, if you know what I mean. It's a resolution that's not really a resolution. And lends itself to more content in the future, which is good. Because the show's going to keep going. Yeah, it's kind of a symbol that everything's okay again. We get this shot of down the hallway at Aragi's house, and the sisters are trying to get him in a bed. Awesome. Nice little reminder there. Araragi tries to take Shinobu back to the, I think they're calling it the abandoned cram school. It's not going to be Oshino Meme's funhouse anymore, or whatever I used to call it. Because Oshino Meme has skipped town. Or at least it seems that way. We're going to have to see. I mean, yeah, this just makes me feel kind of sad. It's like your favorite band breaking up a little bit. You're like, oh, the good times are so good though. It's also an indicator that in the future, Araragi and the rest of the gang are going to need to take more responsibility regarding these occult issues. They're not going to have the cheat card. They're not going to have the mentor to lean back on. I like that as a direction. I didn't think it would come this soon. Seems like we've got a cultural festival coming up that we're going to lean into whatever happens next. I'm pretty sure these follow pretty directly after each other. Maybe not the movies that I'm going to watch next. I think they're more of a flashback thing, but again, I don't know. So please don't tell me. This looks really good because we don't know if she remembers or not. This could mean either way. Like the smile isn't exactly happy, it's pleasant. Is it a forced pleasant though? We don't know. A fated meeting between Senjugahara and Araragi, kind of in contrast to yesterday, where they had to call off this meeting at the start of school because of Hanakawa's issue. But Senjugahara says, oh yeah, you're planning the next date. And if you screw up, I'll kill you. Pretty standard Senjugahara stuff. So all four of them kind of make their way back to Oshino Meme's cram school. Kambaru finds the room that she was fighting in her arc completely empty. It makes you feel sad. I don't know why. It's just like a new beginning in a way. It's a very good way to end a season and lead into the next, I think. Araragi kind of thinks, oh yeah, when Oshino Meme said one day I'll leave this city, that was him saying that I'll leave. That was his warning, right? and now he's gone. He let the cat loose, and that was kind of his final test to Araragi and the gang. If they could deal with that, I'm going for good. Where does that leave Shinobu? Shinobu's just kind of hanging out with Araragi now, I guess. But yeah, some clever stuff there in the writing department from old Oshinomeme. Of course, I don't think he's gone for good. I think he'll make his way back, at least in cameo form at some point. And whenever we flash back, he'll be there, of course. But for now, I guess it's goodbye to the old magnificent bastard. So we'll see the ramifications of that in the future, I guess. Bro, they look like the Avengers. Sick. Is this going to be like our team going forward, I guess? Bit awkward for old Hanakawa, though. With the two in the front doing what they're doing. Anyway, we're gonna keep an eye on it. We get our two lovebirds kind of riding in tow into the sunset. That's our end, I guess. Oh, except for one other choice line. The cultural festival starts tomorrow, and our class is doing a haunted house. Because of course they are. Perfect. Oh, and I missed them there. Look at Araragi in the vampire coat. How good's that? Just got the little staplers. Great. And Hanakawa's got the little cat ears and tail. Look at them, aren't they cute? I missed that during the reaction portion. That's great. I don't know about old mate on the side there, like with the lasso and the like chaps on and all that. Bit weird, bit strange for a school, but I digress. Whoa. Okay, I know there's like it's a swastika, but it's not what I think a swastika is, right? There's like a different meaning for it in certain religions and that kind of thing. I hope, or it's just a swastika. All right, maybe not a good note to go out in the season on. Anyway, so it's kind of getting way too late. I might do a separate video regarding some episode rankings and that kind of thing. But as a whole, the season is just excellent anime. I've said it before. It's high tier, high effort, high everything. It's just fantastic. The people weren't lying when they said this was good. It combines what I like about Shaft Studio in that it's like very high effort, very high all this other stuff. They put a lot of thought into what they're doing. They're very creative. But they combine that with a set of dialogue that's moment to moment interesting as well, which is something that a lot of shows fail to do. I've talked about this a lot. I might talk about this in the future in a separate video, but there's different sides of good in anime, if you know what I mean. And the best anime combine both. It is both macro good and micro good. It is good moment to moment, and it is good when you consider it as a whole. I think Bakemonogatari is one of the few shows that achieves this. Just a couple shows off the top of my head. I think SSSS Gridman has a fantastic overall message. I love what the final episode says about the show, what it says about a number of different things. Similarly, I loved the new Naoko Yamada show, Bakemonogatari. I loved it, what it said about her response to the Kyoto Animation fire. And when you consider it in that context, it's deeply beautiful story. But are those shows, are Gridman and is Bakemonogatari, are they moment to moment interesting? I would say not all the time. Then you have a show like, I don't know, Yuri. Anyway, it's a tongue twister, which I think is moment to moment extremely funny. But does it really close much of anything? Does it tell me anything that I didn't already know? Not really, I don't think. Unless you read between the lines a little bit more, I guess. I think Bakemonogatari succeeds at combining both, and only the best shows do that. I can't wait to see the show blossom more. Of course, that doesn't stop me from being critical. There's stuff I'm critical of in the show entirely that's kind of well documented at this point, and I won't repeat here. But yeah, kind of blown away here. It's really good. I might do an episode ranking later, but just off the top of my head, my favorites were this episode that I just watched, one of my favorites. Episode 12, the end of the regular airing season, was fantastic as well. I loved the episode 5, the end of the Mayoi Snail arc. I thought that was fantastic. And I've come around on Nadeko Snake in a weird way. I wouldn't call it one of my favorites, but when reconsidering it as an Araragi thought experiment, it's increasingly interesting and it's opened up new avenues of the show to be self-critical, which is nice. But overall, I'm going to leave it here. Thank you if you've watched this long. I'm just going to do my shill stuff now. If you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and want to see more, including more Monogatari on the channel next week, I'm thinking Kizu Monogatari is next in my order. Please let me know if I'm wrong. Land of the Lustrous is finishing up soon, and there'll be a poll on the channel soon for a new show replacement, as well as Panty and Stocking. Subscribe to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I can do to improve my presentation, or just anything you want to say. And I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter at the moment. I tweet about anime occasionally. But I'll try to respond to any of your kind of stuff there. That's my main social media I use, so if you want to contact me, that's where you can as well. But in totality, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for sticking with me for Bakemonogatari Season 1, and I'll see you next episode. Thank you very much. Catch you later.